Things didn't really just like fall into place, you know what I mean? Like I didn't have like, you know, some things happen. So the point is though, to not like jump right off the horse, which is not my intentions. It's just frustrating not being able to go out and work out like you want to, and then you know you have to control that frustration, and you have to be able to be able to say, hey, I'm going to get back on this thing. I'm not just gonna stop. You know what I mean? The point is, you got to be able to regroup and get back and say, okay, let's, you know, it's a little mix up, you know, a little bump in the road, and then you got to deal with it and then move forward. When you're committed to do this, you know, you got to deal with the ups and downs, and when the downs come, just make sure it's not like, you know, hey, you know, I totally just went off the deep end. You know, I guess you have to really admit where you're at in your life, and I guess that's not easy, right? I mean, as you might view yourself differently, but at the end of the day, the reality is your health is more than slipped up, and and for me, you know, it's more than slipped up, and I'm in a position now where it's like a high risk, you know, category for, you know, heart disease, you know, and you have to take that serious, but at the same time you can't kick yourself too hard or else you won't go, or else you can't do anything. So there's a balance there where you're trying to you know, where you're trying to deal with the reality, it is what it is, and at the same time you have to stay motivated to make changes. You have to stay you know what it really is when it really boils down to it, you know, and I start thinking about it. You have to care about yourself.
Schedule is still as hectic as ever. I work a full-time day job, and then I've got an hour to 2 hours in between work and school, and so I've, you know, taken some alternatives as far as my late night snacking. Almonds and you know, watermelon and carrots, you know, are always readily available, so that I'm not snacking or wanting to get a Texano or California burrito from Petos. So that's been helpful as well. I try and get in at least a half hour, 45 minutes of physical activity, you know, just not housework, but some actual exercise, whether I'm walking, jogging, lifting weights, or you know, something of that sort. So my body's still just going through a learning curve to where I'm trying to adjust to the time schedule that I have. Lewis Powell, D-line coach at UH, shared a quick tip about rest, and a lot of people talk about rest. I think that's the one thing that I'm lacking at this point. I'm not balancing my day-to-day activities with rest.